Hello everyone, Saj here, and today I'm bringing you my updated virtual world deck profile for the post ban list. So we're entering March, so I guess it's a little late for post ban list, but definitely March format. So not much has changed in the deck. I don't remember exactly what was in the last one, but however, there were some major changes. Losing 2 copies of Desires really hurt, but we did get one E-Telly back for a third one. I don't know if it's better to have I don't know what I think. It's like E-Telly is so good for consistency, but so is Desires. So I think it definitely hurt more than it helped. But E-Telly is definitely really good because now Ghost Ogre is super big in the meta as well. E-Telly bringing out Ghost Ogre is super good. So let's go and hop right into the deck profile. Starting off with obviously 3 copies of Virtual World Lulu, 3 copies of Virtual World Gigi, 3 copies of Virtual World Lao Lao, or sorry, Lulu, or Lily. Sometimes you lose the ability to talk, and that's fine. That happens. Um, 3 copies of Virtual World Lao Lao. I'm gonna move that because the glare is stupid. And then 2 copies of Nian Nian to round off for Virtual World cards or monsters rather. So I you might have noticed throughout all my profiles I don't play Tao Tao. Tao Tao's all right. It's just too situational and it's one more brick, and you don't really want a brick. I've never missed it. I've never gone oh, I really wish I had Tao Tao here. Maybe when I banished 2 Nian off Desires, it's oh darn, I really wish I had Tao Tao. But um that rarely happens, especially because if you banish 2 Nian off Desires, it's because you had to Desires first, and if that's the case, your hand's already really bad. All right, yeah. So that's it for the virtual monsters. For hand traps monsters, we run 3 copies of Ash Blossom Joy the Spring, just best hand trap right now. 3 copies of Cypher Gamma and 1 Driver. Reasoning behind this is Flow Under Reese is really big right now. And also so because of that, Dimension Shifters running about. Same with Artifact Lancium. Both of those cards really hurt the deck. So Gamma just combats that. You can also if you start with Kowloon, which is a very people are going to Ash the Kowloon. That's the best thing to Ash. You can start with Kowloon. They'll Ash it, and then you respond with Gamma. Also, if you Desires and you don't banish Driver, you can Ash, or you can Gamma the Ash Blossom. So I just realized I might have said Ash their Gamma earlier. Gamma the Ash. So yeah, that's why Gamma is just super super good right now. And then to round off for monsters, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. You don't need any more than 2. I've been messing around between 2 and 3. I think 2's fine for now. Just because if you open an E-Telly that you don't need, or maybe 2 E-Telly, you draw into one, you can just during the end, or accept the E-Telly, and during your opponent's standby phase, you can E-Telly out into Ghost Ogre or something. So yeah, Ghost Ogre is super good because it's really great against Brave Token. It's great against a couple other decks of varieties. So yeah. Moving on to spells, 3 copies of Kowloon. Uh, just obvious. 3 copies of Qinglong. The now 3 copies of Emergency Teleport, which is super good. And then 1 copy of Pot of Desires and 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Um, I mean, no Foolish Bureau goods. It's not really necessary. I think the third E-Telly does that really well. I think you probably could fit it in. I just don't really know what to take out for it, and I'd rather have everything that I have right now, and I don't want to go over 40 because Virtual World already has a couple problems breaking, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's any other spells. Small World. I haven't done any testing of Small World, so I don't know if it's good or bad because it does take away 3 of your hand traps. And I think hand traps are really good to have. So I'll definitely post a pinned comment sometime later on when I figure that out. So that's it for spells. Moving on to traps, we run 2 copies of Chuche and 1 copy of Zonwu. I think this is just super standard, no more, no less. And then to round off, 3 copies of Infinite Permanence. Impermanence is super good right now. Also, being able to set it to proc or Zulkin is good, especially so if you open it, it's always useful turn 1. So that's it for the main deck, 40 cards flat. Moving on to the extra deck. One copy of Stardust, one copy of Coral Dragon, and one copy of Gigi to finish off our level sixes. Then one copy of Shen Shen, and one copy of Vermilion Dragon Mech for our nines. And then one copy of Geomathemic Final Sigma. Final Sigma is very situational. It doesn't work like every single time for every single matchup, but it does do wonders when you make it. So just like the ability to just like bring out a giant unaffected towers that can swing for loads of damage is super good. Um, Especially versus decks that can't really out a card this big. Like for example, Sky Strikers. Geomathemic Final Sigma does really well against Sky Strikers until they make access code. Then it doesn't do that well. Paleo Frog is something that's really big at my locals, so this just outs Paleo Frog, which is really funny. This is all right against Eldritch, but if they do summon an Eldritch with the attack bonus, then this doesn't really do that much. But it's really good for closing out games, or if you one time against Paleo, I could have made Kaliga or Shenzhen. Yeah, I can't talk. We've had this issue throughout this video. I can't talk. Instead of making Crystal Wing, I just made Sigma and passed, and like they couldn't out it, and I just kept swinging. To finish off synchros, one copy of Zulkin and one copy of Crystal Wing. I don't run the Kaliga package, and I think that's just because it has fallen off. It doesn't. I think it might. It's coming back right now. I think right now it's getting better with more and more and more and more combo decks, but Forbidden Droplet is more popular in the main deck right now. So against the decks that it does a lot against, it doesn't really do a lot against. If that makes sense. And then also just specifically my locals is really like control based, so Kaliga just does nothing, and it also allows two extra slots. So yeah, that's it for synchros. Moving on to Xyz, I do run a lot. I run 7. So one copy of number 75, one copy of Break Sword. That's it for rank 3s. Uh, Gossip Shadow's really good just because, like, sometimes. So there's two uses for the Gossip Shadow. You can make it on the end of your board for a monster negate, or you can make it on the beginning of your board. Because there are times where you look at your hand and you realize, all right, I can't make Crystal Wing before my 5th summon. So Nibiru is going to hurt. And so just because of that, you can make Gossip Shadow early. Like on summon 3. And if you still have stuff, like for example, if you have GG Lulu, and then like one other virtual name, or like if you have like any way to like get into GG Lulu, or like maybe Nyan Lulu, something, doesn't matter, as long as you can get the Kowloon in your hand to put a Chucha in the field for your additional follow-ups, you can just easily make a number 75. And then Break Sword is good for breaking boards. One copy of Utopia Beyond. This outs like problem cards, like maybe they have a Dragoon, and you've already used baited its negate, you can Utopia Beyond, make its attack 0 and just attack over it. This is good for just outing boards. Just make everything 0 attack. This actually pairs kind of well. Very situational, but every once in a while, this will happen. You can have Utopia Beyond plus Source Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior can attack all special summon monsters once each. So if your opponent has a giant board of special summon monsters, and Utopia Beyond, you can just swing like 4, 5, 6 times with Stars Charge Warrior, and that's just a lot of damage. But it also helps make Zeus. I run one copy of M7. Just this doesn't come up that often, but it's really nice to have, just to be able to recur cards, like maybe an Ash Blossom or like a Juju or something. One copy of Fan DPE is running about, and this just answers DPE, and then there are a lot of problem cards in the graveyards. And then one copy of Gaia Dragon the Thundercharger, and one copy of Zeus, just because this is super good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think. If you're new, subscribe, like the video, all that. And yeah, soon I'm gonna get a Blue Eyes deck up, and then from there, I mean, I don't know, we'll see. Depends on what I have. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.